What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao states this. He says that I'm taking Yordenis Ugas as seriously as Spence. 20 years ago, I was Ugas. With the undefeated WBC IBF welterweight champion, Errol the True Spence sidelined while he recovers from his retina surgery, all eyes are on the WBA welterweight champion, Yordenis Ugas. Ugas stepped up from the card's co-main event and will defend his title against the 8-division world champion and boxer, Manny Pacquiao. This Saturday at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, it will be seen live as the main event on Fox Sports pay-per-view beginning at 9 p.m. Eastern and 6 p.m. Pacific. 20 years ago, with only one world title to his name, unknown outside the Philippines and idling in the junior featherweight division, Manny Pacquiao received a call from Destiny. An IBF junior featherweight champion, Ledolo Ledwaba, considered to be one of the most classiest of the division, was scheduled to make a title defense against Enrique Sanchez in the co-main event of the HBO pay-per-view card and headlined by Javier Castillejo and Oscar De La Hoya. Welterweight championship fight, which took place June 23rd, 2001. 2 weeks before the fight, Sanchez was injured in training camp and the hunt was on for a replacement. After a few opponents rejected the fight, Manny, the IBF number 3 world-rated contender, received the offer, which he and his trainer focused on the fight, and Freddie Roach, of course, is the trainer. The rest is history. And Manny said that I was in very good shape since I've recently fought in the Philippines and had just began to work with Freddie, said Manny, who ends his wild card boxing club training camp today. He said, I was a day away from going home to the Philippines when the fight was offered to me. I was so excited. This was a great opportunity and there was no way I was going to pass it up. Freddie and I worked every day those 2 weeks until the weigh-in. That is how we started to get to know each other. Ugas is in a similar situation. He was already training for a welterweight fight on the same card as mine, so he too is ready to make the most of this opportunity. I know that Ugas is feeling. I know what Ugas is feeling because 20 years ago I was Ugas. I am not taking him for granted. Let me stop there. First off, you have to acknowledge what Manny is saying because it's a great comparison. It's any time where you have a replacement, you're going to have some type of adjustment, okay? And when you look at a fight, just because that fighter in front of you is not the guy that you intended to fight does not mean that the guy that they replace you with is less dangerous. In fact, he could be more dangerous. Look at Manny Pacquiao and look at Enrique Sanchez. Truth of the matter is, I don't know who Enrique Sanchez is. That should tell you right there. Okay, Ledwaba was coming from South Africa because he showcased his skills, on a top level in Johannesburg, Africa, on the undercard of Louis Rockman 1. And HBO seen this guy and seen how talented he was. He was he looked like a orthodox version of Guillermo Rigondeaux in his prime. He was just orthodox. He was sweet. He had a nasty jab, followed the right hand, great uppercut. He was a very seasoned, dedicated, talented fighter that was destined for stardom on HBO because he had signed a contract with HBO. Okay, and when Enrique Sanchez did fall through, I thought it was because of the flu, honestly. I didn't think it was because of an injury, but I could be wrong. Either way, he had to pull out of the fight. And then Manny Pacquiao, this guy that comes out, no one ever heard of him. I never seen him. He had orange hair. He had it split up the middle. Right? He comes out to Rocky music, throwing his hands fiercely. You know what I mean? And I'm like, okay, what's up with this dude? Right? Ledwapa is the guy, the showcase guy. This was supposed to have been a showcase fight. That was the guy to see. He was the guy with the new HBO contract again. He was that guy that was destined to take America by storm from South Africa. Look out, Ike Corte and others that came from Africa. I know he's from Ghana, but look out, right? TIA. But it wasn't TIA that day. It was TIP, which means this is the Philippines. TIA means this is Africa, right? Manny Pacquiao, unknown Manny Pacquiao, stormed through Ledwaba. I mean, dropped him 3 or 4 times, and to the point where he, and he was just more, I think he was more startled as well as hurt, because he did not anticipate the straight left. That left hand came like a cannon, okay? And he did not anticipate the rapid fire that was going to come from an unknown guy like Manny Pacquiao. Saying all that to say this, people. Backstory's over. Yordenis Ugas is a guy. And let's look at Yordenis Ugas' record for a minute, all right? His record is... you're looking at a fighter that is 26 wins, 12 by KO, 4 losses. Now, understand this, he's had a very weird history of fights. Okay, we know his last fight was from a very controversial split decision to Sean Porter, which I think he won due to the knockdown. It was a close fight, but he stopped Sean Porter like no one ever did. Okay, Sean Porter, if you know anything about Sean Porter was that guy. He just storms you with punches to the point where he's so aggressive that he smothers a lot of his work because he's so close to you, just eager to get anything to you. Uppercuts, right hands, left hooks, whatever he can get to you, fighting, clawing for each punch. Regardless if it had power in it or not, he's in your face. His head is right here at your chest, right? He didn't have that type of fight with Yordenis Ugas, because Ugas was a counterpuncher, and he was a very aggressive one, and he followed and stalked Sean Porter. But they gave it to Sean Porter, follow the money, go figure. PBC's finest, okay? He beat Thomas Delorme in a high-spirited fight, which was a very good fight. Jamal James, which was a pretty decent fighter himself. He lost to Amir Aman, unanimous decision, which, that was one of those fights. Emmanuel Robles split decision. Okay, that was his second loss. And his first loss came to Johnny Garcia, also by split decision. So this guy's never been stopped. He's been down against Delorme. That was a good fight. He got up, showed his grit, showed what he was about. He has the pedigree of any Cuban fighter, but he doesn't fight for points. He fights for knockouts, okay? He dethroned Omar Figueroa Jr. He beat Mike Dallas, Abel Ramos. Now he's going up against Manny Pacquiao. Understand you, Manny Pacquiao, by the time that he fought Ledwaba, he had 3 losses, okay? And the 3 losses, a couple of them came to knockouts or whatnot. I think it was all 3 knockouts. But none to say, you're looking at a guy that didn't have a perfect record, didn't have a record of alertment. Nobody was alarmed by that record. Okay, he has 3 losses. Okay, Ugas has 4. All right, it is 2 weeks apart, just like Manny was. So at least you can say this about Manny. At least he's acknowledging, hey, the possibility of him being Ledwaba in this situation. I don't know how Manny will do. I've seen him showing blinding hand speed without gloves, without wraps, mind you. That puts a play, but hand speed, it was there, right? But also knowing that when you are expecting him to fight other people like Spence, there's always a guy. Look at Joshua. There's always a guy that can come in there, Joshua Ruiz, that can come in there and cancel your plans. So I'm glad that Manny Pacquiao is giving respect to Ugas, because he knows this ain't no slouch. He knows this guy is not just a constant mover. He knows that this guy is going to come to fight, and he knows this guy is absolutely dangerous regardless of what his knockout percentage is. That has nothing to do with it. Okay? If you look at someone like Omar Figueroa, look at Omar Figueroa's record. The guy is 28. He has 2 losses now, but he was 28-19. Right? Now, who did he lose to, by the way? Oh, he lost to Abel Ramos too, which Yordenis Ugas took them both out. Okay? So, that just goes to show you about the danger of Yordenis Ugas. He's no slouch. He deserved the WBA championship. He deserved the win against Sean Porter. He deserved a lot of those wins, but he just didn't get them. At times like that, fighters, could wear that like a badge of honor, meaning a chip on their shoulder. And they can carry that on them, and they may need that and use that for fuel. If Yordenis Ugas uses that for fuel, we might be looking at a guy that unexpectedly took the torch from Manny Pacquiao. But at least Manny Pacquiao knows that he's in danger, so he's cautious of who he's fighting. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of Manny Pacquiao stating that 20 years ago that he was Yordenis Ugas. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.